All right, so everybody else is being respectful and a good listener, and you guys can go ahead and get started.
So, one, we're the captain, and one, we haven't broken any rules about punishing the sailors by death or risking the success of the voyage, and we only want the success of the voyage, not to hurt anybody.
And if we punish the sailors, it is for a good reason.
So we want the sailors to learn good discipline, and if the sailors don't learn good discipline, they might take us over, and we wouldn't have, and that would ruin the success of the voyage.
Yeah.
So punishing them is for a good reason.
Yeah, the sailors need discipline. They can't just do anything on the night ships that are not even ours or theirs. They were given to us by the owners over there. So we can't have them just doing anything they want on the ships. They need to be disciplined.
The sailors should have respect for the captain because the ship was given to the captain, not the crew.
Yeah, and the sailors were the one who disobeyed the captain. They should get punished. Like I said earlier, we have to be strict and we have to punish them, or else the ship might turn into a state of nature. The sailors might think that they can do whatever they want. So we have to set boundaries for them.
And just adding on to that, they need to, if they disobeyed the rules, they should be responsible enough to repay their actions.
Yeah, and one of the things that the captains can't do is punish anybody by death. But we weren't. We weren't breaking any rules.
Yeah, we're just disciplining them for what they've done.
You can't throw them all over the ship and say it's not killing them. You wouldn't do that. You would just whip them.
We didn't do that.
We just whip. We won't roll them overboard and kill them.
Which doesn't
Yeah,
count.
we didn't. Yeah. So we weren't breaking any rules. We weren't punishing them by death, or we weren't ruining the success of the voyage. We were actually making it better so that it doesn't turn into a state of nature.
Yeah, and everybody listens.
Yeah. And then the voyage has more chance of success.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So I think that's about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Done. Thank you.
Questions from the Naval Review Board?
Well, in the story that we read, what happened if it said that the captain was just annoyed by the sailor asking him questions, and he didn't whip him for a good reason? What if that happens?
Well, that was an odd circumstance. As in that story, the captain, the sailor had before been disobeying the captain and not getting his work done on time, and the captain needed to show him that he needed to get his work done or the voyage might not be successful.
Yeah, so he was disobeying the ship's rules. He wasn't getting his work done, so then he had to
And also,
discipline him.
the captain was probably annoyed because he already had someone else disobeying, so he was probably already annoyed.
Yeah, the story said that the ship, everybody wasn't really getting their work done on time, and he was really frustrated.
And you should be punished for not working slowly or not getting the work done.
Yeah.
He was also, the crew shouldn't be questioning the captain's orders, as the captain is in charge and most likely has the best interests for the voyage.
Yeah.
Anything else for that question?
No.
Okay.
So, if the captain does whip the crew member, and he injures him, and he's a vital crew member to the ship, what will you do?
Nothing. Well, we're not trying to injure them and not be able to.
We're just punishing them.
We're just punishing them for not doing their work right.
And it never said
Whipping
that
them
it
is
was
not going to kill them.
and it said that there wasn't really and it said that this crew member, he was just a shaggy old, wasn't really important. He it said that he wasn't really the top dog of sailors. He was just the bottom low guy, just needed to do his work done. So it wouldn't really be much of a loss for the ship.
And also, because they're just getting hit in the back, so it would just be in the back. So they still have their arms and their legs, so their back's just getting all the blows, but so they can still work. It would just hurt.
And they're just disciplining them. They're not trying to.
We're not
injure them.
fatally wounding them.
Yeah.
And last question from the Naval Review Board.
If the crew helps out someone who's like old or tired of working, more slower, why do the person who tries to help out or anybody else gets whipped or put in chains?
Well, because you should be able to, one person should do one work and one person should do their work, so.
Unless they had to work together to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't need to do it because like if they get assigned the job, it means that the captain thinks they're capable of doing it.
Like personally, I don't want people working on my ship who can't get their work done. So if they can't get their work done, they shouldn't be on the ship in the first place.
Can you please repeat the question?
If the crew helps someone not as good skill or like older than the other one, why does the person who's trying to help them out or the people get put in chains or whipped?
So one person should get their work done and somebody shouldn't get their work done.
We're just trying to have everybody get all the work done instead of stopping your work to get someone else's work done,
Yeah.
but then potentially not finishing yours.
Yeah, because like if you go and help someone out, you you might be done, but if you're not, then you're gonna have to work longer, and it may have been something really important that you need to get done, and then that's not done. So then we won't have.
Like putting down the sails
behind.
or something.
Yeah.
And that could risk the ship's voyage if you didn't do your work, like put up the sails or something. Like a storm or anything.
Yeah, so after this disciplining, hopefully he will learn his lesson and now they won't have to punish him again. So then this will actually help the ship's voyage because now he's like on track and he knows that he has to do his work.
As the judge of this, I'm going to dismiss the captain and ask the crew to come up now.
This is not discipline. This is cruelty. The captain has a terrible temper, and he flips out at the tiniest mistakes. He's very hard on his crew, and it's not fair to them because he doesn't think twice before lashing out at them. He just does it. It's not discipline. He's just being mean. And our lives are in jeopardy every day, and we live in fear of our captain because he's so cruel.
Our lives are in jeopardy every passing day. We live in fear. He also doesn't follow the 7 habits. For example, 4th habit. He thinks win-lose. Him the one winning, and the sailors are the ones losing. We are not his friends. We are his servants.
So, the text said that Sam can't speak clearly and gets work done slowly, but they even said that he's still a good sailor. He puts the captain puts all of this anger on this man, and when the captain asked him a question, like, Sam can't speak clearly, so the captain couldn't understand him. He kept, asking him the question more, and then finally, he was so mad that he, put a rope around him, and then he whipped him. And then he was also asking, another sailor named John. He was asking, why are you whipping this man? And he put 3 other people in chains watching this devastating incident. So.
Yeah, it's not fair how he takes his anger out on people.
Yeah, and he's treating
Yeah,
them like
and then
slaves.
even
and
if you're-
slaves. They're
yeah.
like his
So, I mean, you're not getting, like you guys said, you're not going to have a successful voyage if you're putting 4 men, 3 men in chains and 1 getting whipped.
Yeah, he's gonna be hurt, and he's not gonna work as well if he's hurt. Like, you can tell him, hey, dude, you're not doing your work. You gotta pick up the pace a little.
Yeah, it's really not doing anything. It's just making him hurt, and it's not doing anything if you're whipping him because then he's just going to work less hard because it's harder to do it. Your back is all bleeding and hurt.
Yeah, we're not saying that there shouldn't be any discipline. There should be consequences, but it shouldn't be to this extreme level.
Yeah. If he did something worse, that would make more sense, but he didn't do anything that bad.
He didn't do anything to harm anyone. He shouldn't be treated like this.
I mean, the author didn't say that he didn't get his work done. He worked slowly. I mean, we can base this off of school. People get work done at different levels, but they still get it finished. They still do a good job.
Yeah, they still get like good. They'll still get. They could get an A
Yeah, like
plus
everybody
and get it done really slowly.
Yeah,
and
like
it's not
everybody
like-
has different levels.
Yeah, it's not like he was like trying to bother the captain with this. He worked his hardest. He just had some troubles, so
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
really
He
his
didn't
fault.
speak clearly just because the captain was asking him a question and then he could answer because he has some kind of disability.
Can
So.
we have a question? Oh, do you have one? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also, like Brady said, he's just a slower worker, and he was whipped just for. He was whipped.
Because he just couldn't answer the question clearly.
Yeah, and then they were chained for just trying to help someone. It
Yeah,
was
like help his own
need.
crew member.
Yeah, that's not fair.
And the captain does not follow the 7 habits, especially seek first to understand, then to be understood, because he doesn't listen to our opinions or synergize because he only thinks about himself.
Yeah, like he didn't seek first to understand, then to be understood. Because when the John asked the question, "Why are you whipping him?" that he just immediately put them in chains. Which is
Like
yeah.
he never
Yeah.
listens
He
to
doesn't
other
listen to
people's
anybody.
opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
just
He doesn't
care about what anyone
Someone
thinks.
says something, he takes out his whip and starts lashing them with it.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Nash, labor review board.
Why do you keep on messing up? Like, you threw like food on the deck, and like, why do you keep on like messing up all this stuff?
The reason we threw food on the deck is because I guess that the cook thought that it was,
Wait, no, we didn't. Wait, hold on. Brady, can I see the book?
Well,
I actually
also-
don't know about that.
But accidents
didn't
happen. we always, sorry, we always make accidents in school.
Yeah,
Like,
and
Addie's looking.
Yeah,
at me.
accidents
Yeah,
always
thought
happen.
the cook must have thought
You
that,
maybe
the
thought
food
that it
was-
was like raw or something.
Yeah,
Like,
and
don't
it's
you
not
think-
like. I mean, everyone kind of makes mistakes. Like, it's not totally his fault. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
And then
I get if he did it like a few times over again, I would be mad. But like, it was just an innocent mistake. Like, he probably didn't need to do it. So.
Yeah, like if you spill food at your house or something, your parents would be like, "Oh, that's all right, just pick it up." But like the captain got really mad at them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
because
Sam-
like some people say mistakes are what makes you human, and this guy, I think the captain just thinks you've got to be perfect, otherwise I'm gonna whip you.
So that was one of the mistakes. But Sam, he couldn't even control it. Like, it's not his fault that he messes up. He tries so hard, so it's not his fault.
So when somebody got whipped, was he talking? Yeah, when Sam or John or whatever was getting was getting whipped, was he like did he was he purposely doing it?
No.
No, definitely not. So
Yeah.
the
Purposely
captain
do
said,
anything.
"Will you ever talk back to me again?" And Sam he was just scared, and he said, "I never did, sir." And he was probably just like very
Yeah, like
he
I
was
would
probably
be
just trying
scared.
to defend himself, and he was probably just really scared. He just had to
Yeah.
think of something to say really fast.
Yeah.
I'd
So
be
the first
scared
thing
to
that came
death
to-
because you can't actually be whipped to death.
And like again, I think he blames it all on Sam because he doesn't get work as fast as them, but he still gets his work done. Like the book even said that he's still a good sailor.
Yeah. He just
Yeah.
has a little, he's just a little slow.
And it's not like he didn't like the other sailors particularly too much, but he particularly disliked Sam. He didn't like he was probably his least favorite sailor, and it even says that in here.
It's not
That
fair.
just the captain didn't like Sam. So the conditions were different for Sam, I think, and so it was different. And I don't think that's fair that different people are treated differently.
Last question, if you have.
When you got whipped, did you get whipped a lot?
Yeah, kinda.
Well, I think
I
I don't know, but like from a sailor's perspective, like I can see one of the sailors said, I was horrified, I couldn't watch anymore. So maybe it was like devastating or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
because it doesn't say it.
it doesn't particularly say it, but I can imagine like even if you didn't get whipped a lot, say you got 5 lashes from the whip every time.
Yeah, and then
They're probably getting whipped like 3 times a day with this captain's hot temper.
and
They're probably
also,
getting punished multiple times a day. So think about it. It adds up. Just if you only get 5 lashes per whip, even if you just mess up twice, you still get 10 lashes.
and then even I was reading, it even said the captain whipped John for just asking that question, why are you whipping this man? So he put him in chains and then whipped him.
Yeah, also, they might not fully recover from the last time they were whipped before the next time. And so eventually that might end up in death, because you can bleed to death, and that's part of being whipped to death.
And also, like, if you're doing this to the people, like, this many times, you're just making them weaker and weaker. You say that you're not trying to hurt them, but really, you're not doing much good. If you whip them once or twice a day for their
Like, you
things,
won't have the success voyage.
yeah, like, you really are putting the voyage in jeopardy.
Yeah,
You're just putting your whole crew, like, soon enough, it'll be
injury
weaker,
prone.
weaker, 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 and then down to here. Which
And
will
also-
be like,
Last comment from Charlotte and Alex, and then we're done.
And also, if it scabs up, any bend over and it would hurt if it like ripped.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
whipping
Ready
scars.
to let Alex finish, buddy?
So
I'm sorry,
when
just
you're
we're out of
whipping,
time.
and then you're whipping, and then it bleeds, and then it scabs over, but then you keep whipping it open, it's gonna eventually be a huge scar.
Yeah,
It's
that's
never
what I
gonna
was
heal.
gonna say.
So kiddos, just because of time I had to end it, but I saw that 2 people needed to get a word in. So, alright, thank you very much for coming up. I'd like to ask that the owner, is it the owner that's next? Yeah. The owner comes up. So kiddos, just to pretend this is halftime for a moment. The things that I like so far, author and owner really listen because these are the things that'll benefit you in the long run. The things that I like so far are citing the text and showing examples from the text that prove your point. I like the preparation that some of the groups have shown, especially where you had, like, each person had something specific and different from each other that they wanted to say. I like the connections to our 7 habits. I thought that was a good way to bring that in because we're supposed to find real world connections, and this is real world in a fake scenario, but I like those so far. So please consider keeping on going like that, and then anything more you can add to it would be great. Thanks. Go ahead and begin.
Okay, so we're the ship company, and
We gave this ship to the captain, and he is responsible for what he did, but we are standing for his actions.
yeah.
So we believe that you should not set these rights on him because, first of all, no one would want to be a captain because if they really know that they're gonna have limits, they're gonna know that they can't punish their crew, and their crew might rebel against them, and then people, if they get the opportunity of being a captain, they're going to be thinking, oh, but it's going to be so hard. I'm not going to be allowed to punish my crew. I'm not going to be allowed to discipline them. I can't do anything about it if they're not obeying me.
Yeah.
I am not going to do this.
The
And
captain was the one who bought the ship from us,
And
so
that-
we think that
and that will
it's
shut down
ridiculous.
our business and many other businesses if you do put these limits on them.
Like,
Yeah.
let's say something really bad happens, but the captain cannot punish it. That thing will keep happening again and again because they know the captain will not be able to punish the people for doing
And
it.
since
Go ahead.
If the crew members don't obey the captain, they will have rules and they will not be able to do it.
Can you explain that?
So that means if they have
the captain should be able to make rules for
The captain,
crew.
yeah, the captain should be able to make rules because if they don't have rules, then the crew, like they said, could overtake the captain.
underestimate him and disobey him. So basically, the crew will take control and they'll do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing.
Because they know that they're not gonna have such a harsh consequence, and they might just do what they want. They might not obey the captain, and that's not ideal because the captain basically means the ruler, and yes, you have to listen to the captain and respect him. And with these limits, that might not be possible.
As the owners of the ship, I mean, not the owners, but the ship company, we think that since the captain bought the ship is his responsibility, and he bought it himself, so it belongs to him. So he should have.
He can do what he wants to his crew, because it's his ship, it's his responsibility, and with responsibility, he can make his own rules, and that apply to all his crew.
We do care about we care about the condition of the sailors, and the crew, but if the captain wants to do something, he can do it because he owns the ship. He should have his ways if something's not because he is.
So kiddos, I'm gonna do a point of clarification. The ship owners are you guys. You own the ships. The captains are hired to run the ship.
Oh.
So I wasn't gonna interfere, but it's going on longer, so I want you to know that that's not technically the case.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we own the ship, and we think that the captain should be able to do what he wants.
Because it's his voyage, and although we're the ones that own the ships, we're not the explorers. It's his expedition, it's his rules, and people should respect him. And with these limits, they're gonna know that they don't have limits. They're not gonna have such a harsh punishment. If they know that they can't be severely punished, they can do whatever they want. They can take a day off or something. And that's not good, because a voyage needs to have people constantly working.
So he might have limits that he's not allowed to punish them that much. So that kind of means like.
We probably should start cleaning up the music now.
Nope, that's not how it works now. It's 10:35. We're a half hour.
Oh, I don't know.
So
Well, we're just thinking. We're just wondering, like, what would the crew be able to do if they didn't have rights? What can you give us an example of that?
So like if they didn't have rights, they could do like whatever they wanted.
Like what?
Like
Like maybe disobeying orders and having parties on them?
Kiddos, you have 1 more minute before they have to ask their questions, though, so make sure you stay focused.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't have any limits and they're going on a voyage, it might ruin the voyage to go find something or like find gold or something. It might ruin it, so it's not. How do you say it? Like. So they're not going to be able to do what they wanted to do.
Also,
because that will slow them down.
yeah. Also, I'm just saying, little situations like maybe they didn't do a job correctly. Yeah, sure. It's not such a big deal. But if they do something, if they do something really bad, like maybe attacking an enemy ship when they're supposed to, like go away from it, the captain won't be able to like whip them or discipline them in a proper manner, and something like that just won't work out.
Also, we own the ship, and we should be able to we should be able to let the captain
Yeah. 'Cause
have his ways if we want the captain.
we hired this captain because we believe that he can run a ship, and if he can run a ship, then he can do it on his own with his own rules.
Questions from the Naval Review Board?
So, if the captain's mean to the crew, and the crew doesn't like being on him, and he just leaves the captain on his ship, and the captain isn't chained, and he crashes the ship, would you want to sell the ship to the captain again?
Can you?
Would you want to hire the captain?
Yeah.
So in history there have been captains that we have really enjoyed. We have like learned that they aren't good, and it's just a matter of luck. Because what happens on the ship isn't our responsibility. It's what the captain does. We would not hire captains that cause trouble, but we can hire captains that discipline their crew because we believe in that. Does anyone have anything to add?
Yeah, so if we had a captain that we didn't agree with, or they didn't do something that we agreed with, we probably wouldn't hire them again. But if the captain's doing what we think is right and okay with us, then
We can
we
hire
should
them.
be able to hire them again.
And anyways, like the people that we hire, they would have to go through all the training, so we would actually know, like,
If they're good
yeah,
captains.
if they're good captains.
If
or
they
not.
they're
are
worthy.
qualified
Yeah.
to sail a ship.
Done. Next one.
It sort of sounds like to me that you're letting the captain take advantage of you and letting him choose all the rules and powers of your ship and letting him have no limits
Can you
against the crew.
repeat that? I didn't understand it.
So it sounds like you're letting the captain take advantage of your ship when you hired him by letting him have no letting him make his own powers and limits against the crew.
So you're saying that
That's a statement, not a question, just so you guys are clear.
that's we strongly believe in that because we hired these men because we knew they were responsible and
We knew you'd be able to
and
do,
they know that they'd be able to
what
run
you're
a
supposed
ship.
to do.
Yeah, and no matter what, the journey is to get from one place to another. And if they successfully do that, then they're worthy captains.
Yeah.
And yes, you have to be, like the captain stated already, you have to be harsh. Because if you want people to respect you, you need to show that you have the power to be respected.
If the crew is acting in a way that the captain disagrees with or doesn't like, that is technically the crew's fault, and the captain should be able to control the crew, like when the crew is doing something that they're not supposed to be doing.
And the crew should be able to know this. They should not just come aboard the ship and think it would be the easiest thing they've ever done.
They should know what the captain likes and dislikes.
They should be able to deal with it, know what's happening, and not just come on and say well, you're not supposed to do that.
Last question, please.
So in the book it says that the captain treats them like slaves. And what if the crews ditch the captain and they want to buy a ship of their own? Will you treat them like slaves and will you give them a ship?
So it's not us, it's any of the crew members. After that voyage is over, they can come and say, hey, can you hire me to get a ship? They can apply, and we
then
can
we'll
choose.
decide.
Yeah, we'll decide. It's not like when they're aboard a ship and when they're a crew in a ship, it does give them experience, and we would be able to hire anyone that is worthy. So
The captain probably started off as a sailor too, or otherwise you wouldn't really know what he was doing.
probably.
So he's probably been through a lot of what the crew is going through. I mean, just not like specifically, like exactly what the captain's doing for the crew now, but somewhat, something like that.
I see. That's enough.
Okay, some of you didn't talk, just be aware of that.
Yeah.
All right, go back to your seats, please. Last group.
too strict on them. I think, if you do spill the whole food supply or something, that's pretty
Yeah.
bad, and you should swap the decks.
And that's a reason to whip them. But if they just spill or like get something like a little bit wrong, the captain will get so mad he just whips them like crazy, and he doesn't think about it before he does it, and it's just a bad strategy.
Yeah, and like the captains and the owners say it's gonna, if it's a successful voyage, it's where you get to the place you're destined to go to. But it's really a successful voyage if everyone, if everyone is happy and not injured when they get there.
I know.
And if the captains want the crew to respect them, maybe they should be a little less harsh.
Yeah, and why whip somebody when you could just help them and get it done faster? It's just every time he does that, it's just another minus to the crew and the whole ship. So instead of whipping him, the captain should try helping him and get it done before it gets too much out of hand.
Yeah, I think that the consequences should be a little less harsh, like maybe clean up what you did and then clean up something else,
And then
or
get back
help
and
somebody with their
try
job
it
and
again.
then do yours.
Yeah.
Or, just not violence or whipping.
Yeah,
Because it's possible to bleed out from that over and over slapping and whipping.
Yeah, we need to change the powers of the captain. We need to make it so they can't harm anybody because they made a little mistake, and they should be able to treat everyone like they should be treated. And
Just because the crew did something wrong doesn't mean you should whip them.
yeah,
Because if you whip them, then that means that they might want to quit your job. And they might just say, well, I don't want to do this anymore if I'm going to get whipped every single day. I can find a different job.
Yeah, and they might want to get revenge. Like, the sailors are probably, like, all wanting to get revenge on the captain because they don't respect him. Because if you whip someone and hurt them and yell at them all the time, they're not going to respect you.
See what you think.
So the captain, he thinks of himself as like a king with all the power. We're all on the ship, and he's just there to lead us, not to punish us.
It should be
we're
more
all,
of
we're
a
all a team.
sailor
We're all
led
equal.
ship.
He's not synergizing with everybody.
Sailor lad. I also kind of think, like, if they go and help other people, it doesn't mean they should get whipped because it's their option to work longer. They can choose to work longer if they want, but the captains just want to get it done right away. But if the workers want to work longer, the captain doesn't have to pay them anymore. They can just work longer and get their work done later.
And I agree with the crew. Like, hurting them is not going to help. It's going to make them weaker.
Yeah, it's just another
and,
minus.
like, the crew works for the captain. I mean, why would you hurt them?
Yeah.
I mean, make them swap the deck. That's a better punishment for doing something wrong.
I like to say some, especially to the owners, but, so you said that since it's sort of your ship and you give all the responsibility to the captain, here's a relation. If somebody willingly goes into my home, am I allowed to whip them legally?
Wait, they can't answer you, so
I know, I'm just asking you a formally question.
To
Am I allowed to murder them? Am I allowed to do any
Same laws. Are you allowed to make them clean your house?
Well, if they willingly want to do that. But,
yeah, it's just a bad rule, and they need to change the power of the captains to just maybe become a better team and work together and synergize more.
Yeah. I also think that the owners, they said that you have to apply to get a ship. But then the captain can find out and tell the owners they're not allowed to get the ship. So then they have to keep on working for them. But I know the captains also said that they are worried about doing that. But if they're worried, why would they whip people? It's not fair to the crew members, and it's not fair to anyone, really, unless they're not getting whipped.
Exactly. And like Sam from the story, he got whipped for not speaking right. I mean, that's
No.
not even.
And that's
he's not
just-
even doing
And
anything
that's
wrong.
just taking advantage of things that he can't do or things that he can't do right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I have something to add on to it. It's just like those human instincts right in the core of your brain. Fight or fly. You can't really fly if you're on a ship.
And you
can't
can't really
fight your
fight
captain.
when you're tied
So you have
around
to
with
think to
ropes.
those others, but just as that John guy tried to talk, he tried to talk and talk it out, and the guy puts him in shackles and whips him.
Yeah, it's like the captains are very cruel, and they should definitely have some major limits on them.
Yeah. I also
Last
think
comment, and then we'll do questions, okay?
I also think that the captain said that it cannot kill anyone, but it really is able to kill people because people can get whipped so many times that all their skin is just
they can get
scabs.
they can get injured like
And then they can just like pass out and not be able to wake up again.
Yeah, I have something to add. Say they're crying because they're hurt, they're getting whipped. They can cry out all the water in their body and just die from dehydration.
I think it'd be more of a bleeding out.
Okay, done.
If you were a crew member, would you want to get such harsh punishment?
No.
Definitely not. Why would we want to get harsh punishment?
I mean, that's pretty much saying, I mean, there's no that's in this abuse, I would say.
And
And
that's-
if you're on a ship for more than 3 months, it would technically be domestic.
And that's why
But-
the owners need to change the powers of the captain.
Because,
So-
like, no one would willingly go on a ship, become a sailor. Like, say this is someone's life dream to become a sailor. And then they go on the ship and then they get whipped.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So-
like.
The captains are abusing their power of
Yeah.
whipping people. They can, like, if they do something horribly bad, like they're about to kill someone, then whip them. But not if they drop a pudding cup.
They're pretty much dictators, you know? I mean, they think they have infinite power.
Yeah.
And they can do
Definitely.
whatever they want as
Yeah.
a crew members.
Next question.
Will you approve of this happening if you were captain?
No.
It's not fair to us, so why would we want to go and hurt the captain?
So, say, like, I'm a sailor, and, like someone said before, one of your questions, could a sailor potentially be a captain? I would treat my crew members so, like,
As if
nicely.
they were the captain.
Yeah.
You know, we'd all work together and everybody would
Yeah.
be treated
Treat your
equal.
peers.
Because if we wanted to stop, we're gonna need. If we say, hey, look, if we were captains, we should be captains for a day and see if you get whipped, and if you do, then see how it feels.
Yeah.
So he's not really treating others the way that he wants to be treated.
Yeah. Lucas, what do you think about that?
So I'm gonna ask the last question. I know you have more to say, but we are short on time. The last question is, you mentioned, I think Bridget mentioned, that, you know, it's one thing if they're trying to injure other people, it's okay to whip them then, but, so I'm asking you, do we place limits on the power of the captain or not? If you're saying there's a gray area, there's this middle ground, it's like where, you know, you're limited for certain things, but you're not limited for other things. Where is the line? Who decides this? Do you decide it? Does the Naval Review Board decide it? Does the captain decide it? Does the crew decide? How does it work?
It's kind of like police now, that if you're gonna hurt someone, you get arrested. Oh, but they didn't have police back then, so they should get whipped instead of, like, they should get whipped if they're doing something like that. Police can arrest them nowadays, but back then they didn't have it, so they should get whipped.
Yeah, like if they do something that bad that they need to get arrested in today, then they would probably get whipped back then. But I think that the Naval Review Board would decide if the captain gets limits or the ship's owners, because they're the owners of the ship. But I think the Naval Review Board would be best because they're not like force side. I don't think.
And I had an idea last question, but I totally forgot it when I was hearing them. So, but here it is. So, you know how they said that they would want to overthrow the captain if, let's say, he puts limits. He puts limits. Judging me, I would want to overthrow him more if he whips me for little mistakes. That would like build up. You know. I mean,
Definitely.
Okay, sounds sounds like the Naval Review Board has some work to do to decide. So they're going to need to go in the hall. They can't come back with a tie. They have to vote, and it has to go one way or the other. We're doing other things while you're in the hall, so they'll catch you up when you get back to know what we're doing. And we'll await your decision. Right. Alright, my class, we only have 15 minutes. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to take half of your group and go to, so half of your group go here, half of your group go here, half of your group go here, half of your group go here. Grab a couple laptops, like one per group maybe, or a desktop. If you're near a desktop, that's fine. Bye, sweetheart. Thanks for staying.
That was fun. I thought it was going to be more of a courtroom situation. You and I grab a laptop.
I'm just handing some random things out for now. Try not to lose what I'm handing. Kind of random. Where is your group? Guys, ask your group what's going on, please. Ask your group what's going on. Follow my directions.
I want to do some with paper towels.
All right, look around. I've put a packet. I've put some books at your spots. Please don't write in the packet. The packet has science fair ideas. The computers, you can Google science fair project ideas. The books are all science fair project ideas, but let me tell you right now that 90% of the ideas are really, really, really hard to do.